Okay, so this is something that people probably wouldn't bother doing these days. Putting a patch on a hold watering can. I don't know quite why it's gone in that particular spot. I don't know if something's burnt it over the years or in the past, and that's taken the galvanising off. Anyway, that's what I'm going to try and do. I've cut a piece of Zintek. It's a bit of sort of galvanised-y type steel. Came on a packing crate or something or other. And I'm going to stick that over there with any luck. I've got to put a bit of shape in it first. So, do a bit of overkill. Do it on the fly press. Probably quite easily just pull it round on a bit of bar, but let's get the big guns out. Try and find the hole. Now this bit of tool I normally use for bending 1/4 inch plate. A job I've got. This is just about the right radius, so the job comes to me a little bit over bent. I just have to bend them out again with this, and it does it a treat. So I'm going to stick the bottom tool in. If I can get hold of it. And that's what I use for, say, a bit of 1/4 plate. So stick it in there. Give it a bit of a bosh. It won't need a lot, obviously. It's pretty thin stuff. I suppose it's about 16 gauge maybe. It's probably a bit heavy for this job, but it's all I've got. So it came on it. It was packing around some steel I ordered. I always hang on to bits of stuff like that. You never know when it might come in handy. Little jobs. And as it's galvanised anyway, it should, or zinc coated, it should do the job a treat. Right, so there you go. So it's put quite a nice radius in it, which obviously is not going to be exactly right. So that hopefully will go over there. As you can see, it's a little bit full. So I'm just going to bash it out a bit. A bit more. So this isn't the sort of thing that people would probably do these days, so chuck it away and go and buy a plastic one. But my wife loves this galvanised watering can. She's got galvanised watering cans, buckets, galvanised, all sorts of stuff that she uses around the garden. So it seems a shame to chuck that out. There you go, that's a bit better, that'll do. So I said to her I'll try and fix it. So I'm just going to clean this off, both of these. Just get any contaminants off before I try and solder them up. So I'm just going to use a bit of meths, or denatured alcohol as some might know it. Ours is purple to put off the alcoholics. Right, just give it a quick rub down. I use this stuff on loads of things because it's great. It doesn't leave any residue. It just evaporates and leaves no residue. Not like, you know, you get white spirit and stuff like that. It leaves a real oily residue. This doesn't. I use this or acetate. Acetone, not acetate. That's a plastic, isn't it? Acetone. But I try and reserve that for, you know, aluminium and stuff. Right. Just going to mark it now, so I've got an idea of where to tin the actual watering can. So I'm just going to get it roughly where I want it. A little chalk mark around it. Now, I apologise if you can hear chainsaws a lot. I had to turn the volume right down on this video because there's two guys outside cutting trees down. Now I'm just going to tin this one and tin that, and it might work, it might not. So let's give it a go. As I say, there's two guys outside cutting a bloody great tree down. So I've got my MAC gas, I've got my solder. I don't think I need quite as much as that. A couple of strips maybe, because I shall be generous. I'm just going to put a bit of flux on this, and I'm using this, which is like a, I don't know what you call it, like a paste rather than the baker's. With it, that's all it is. I don't know what make it is. With it being sort of on corners or on a radius, it's probably easier than using bakers. Stick that on the vise, we'll tin that up there. Bakers is a lot more acidic, I think. It may have been better for this job, I don't know. Bites in, seems to bite in more, but anyway, I'm going to give it a go with this because I use this stuff a lot, and it does work. I think the flame is going to be a little bit fierce, but we'll give it a go. The trouble is this solder's a bit thick. Yeah, I'm going to have to turn that down. It's burning it a bit. Yeah, I'm not doing a very good job of that. That's better. Turn it down a little bit. I'm not a great solderer. I don't do an awful lot of it, so that's probably why you can, or that's probably you can tell that. But it's quite handy sometimes, and I've got a job coming up. I'm not sure whether I shall end up doing a video for it or not. That I might need to do some soldering on, so this is going to be quite good practice. Although the joints that I'm going to have to solder are going to be slightly different. It's literally going to be cosmetic to fill in the gaps. It's not really going to be structural. I want it to look nice, this job particularly. Not this job, but the job I've got coming up. Now then, that burnt side, I think I'm going to try and clean that off. So we can give it a bit of a scrub off here and start again, because it's gone a bit nasty. I know sometimes once you've got stuff too hot, it won't have it, but we'll give it a go. I always tend to over flux it, not flux these things, over tin these things. Actually, you can see there's some of it has actually gone on there, so it's not that bad. Just going to give it a little go more. Yeah, I tend to over tin these things and get a bit carried away, and I think that's exactly what's going to happen on this. That's better. That's running on there quite nicely now. Let's see if we can join up all four sides. There's way too much solder on there. I'm hoping it'll sort of fill in some of the gaps underneath once I get it on the can. I've just got to redo that portion there. That's it. Right. That's not bad. It's not perfect. Way too much solder, but I'd rather a little bit more and it flood out, as long as it sort of, you know, does the job, rather than not have enough and have to try and get more in it. So that I'm going to call it a day on that bit. Now we've got to try and do the same thing on the can. So I'm going to speed this up because it's pretty boring, and you all know what I'm trying to do. I don't know what the dog's barking at. No doubt someone walking past the window. I think that's probably just about got it. Who knows? It's sort of there and thereabouts. But again, I've got way too much solder on it. And somehow we've got to get that lot to stick together. I'm just going to put another little bit of flux in there just to try and make sure it all flows together. Now I suppose in hindsight I should have put some tight straps of perhaps welding wire around them, hold them together, then heat the whole lot up and hope it pulls in, because as you can see it doesn't fit anywhere near now because of all the solder I've put on it. I think trying to heat it all up in one go is going to be almost impossible. Yeah, I do it one. Yeah, I ain't no good at this, am I? Let's hold it and see if we can sort of stick it in one corner and then just trying to get it to. That's got it. Alright, let's see if we can sort of push it down as we go. Well, it's not really going very well, but I'm struggling. Of course it would be at the bottom where it's worst. I'm just going to try and run a little tiny bit around each corner or around each side just to try and finish it off. This bottom is the one that's real pain in the backside. I hope you can't hear me swearing on here, because I do a couple of times, because it just keeps disappearing up the hole, and I'm going to have to tap that down a bit, I think. Anyway, I've persevered. I've got it done. It's not pretty, but I'm going to clean it up, try and make it look a little less butchered. There we go. I've run the wire brush over it, cleaned it off with a bit of meths and got the residue off, and it don't look too bad. Better than I expected, and it actually holds water, which there's no way it would have done with those two holes in. And just to prove it, it's still full of water, and you can see the hole, if it focuses inside, just down the bottom there, you can just see a tiny little bit of silver where the solder has come through. So I think the wife will be happy with that, and someone might get use of that technique. You never know, someone might want to repair something that they love and cherish. So anyway, thanks for watching. The wife will be happy, and we'll catch you on the next one.